Hi, I'm M. Roblin. I help people seek out their potential, new possibility. The problem isn't usually the problem. This last several days, we've been unpacking limiting beliefs. If you haven't caught those videos, I invite you to go back and do that. The reflection process and how to distance yourself with some space and time, and a lot of love and compassion to see how you've worked through some limiting beliefs. I share a few of my own professional and personal limiting beliefs that I've just shattered over the last 12 months. Woohoo! And the impact that that's having. And then we talked yesterday about the who. Who supports you, believes in you, and knows what you're committed to, and helps you to uncover your blind spots or other things that might be getting in your way of meeting the goals that you have. And I invited you right at the end of that video to think about who do you play that role for? Because what a gift. Where's the opportunity for you to play that role even more? Yeah. And so today I want to talk about the inner dialogue. How do we know that something really is a limiting belief? Is it a limiting belief, or is it just that's not the right fit for me? And I guess the distinction I want to share is the difference between the inner critic and the inner compass. And so, a few of you actually shared with me a specific example where you feel like limiting beliefs had really gotten in your way in the past, and you gave the example of job interviews. And actually, two of you shared specific cases where somebody had come to you with a job opportunity and you somehow, along the process, convinced people, because you've got some conviction, right? You've got some communication skills, and you pretty much convinced people that you were not the right person for this job. One of you even described it as a kind of process of self-sabotage, and that really felt like deep-rooted limiting beliefs. And so, that let's look at the inner critic, right? Like the inner critic, I would say, I invite you, if you haven't done this, to get to know your inner critic. I can do a whole other series on this. This has been an important shift in my life as I've gotten to know and built a relationship with my inner critic. But to recognize that usually the inner critic is about protection in some way. So this whole bucket of limiting, this side of the limiting beliefs, I think would come up in situations that are rooted in fear. Because I'm going to be stretched. I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone and do something. Maybe it's fear, like uncertainty, fear of losing control. Like, I don't know. I can't even see what the potential possibilities or outcomes are. So that's really scary. So I feel uncomfortable with that. Fear of failing, right? Fear of failing could be wrapped up in the uncertainty, but it also could just be taking on a stretch project. I know exactly what it looks like, but I'm really afraid I'm going to mess it right up. So it's better for me to sit here. Could be fear of what people think. Are people going to judge me? Am I going to disappoint people? Am I going to just rock the boat in a way that really doesn't sit well with me? I mean, all of that stuff, right? Usually the inner critic is designed to help us not get uncomfortable. And so if you can notice your inner critic, and I think one key thing, I mean, it's so simple, is around the language the inner critic uses. Are they using I, or are they using you? In my case, my inner critic, because it's like a third party in a way, it's like a third party that lives in my head, they're often saying you, like, you're not good enough, as opposed to saying, like, I'm not good enough. That's the language. I don't know if I've created it that way or if it was always that way, but I wonder if that's something that you also notice. Do you have that? So when I hear it starting to be like a you, like, you're wrong. That's like the inner critic trying to pipe up and trying to like hold me back. So that if I'm in this category, I'm kind of knowing that I actually need to, just like any relationship with anybody, I need to manage that person. I need to decide what their motivation is, what the place that they're coming from, and then move through that, move past that, and make the decision that is going to make me feel uncomfortable and stretch me and make me lose control and not be sure of what's going to be the outcome, and address that fear, but from a place of love. Yeah. So that's where I feel like we've got to shatter those limiting beliefs. But then there's the other situation, which is like the inner compass. The inner compass is like our deepest values, our purpose. It's so if you're encountering a voice as you're doing something, like, I don't know, you've got the job interview right in front of you, but as you go and sit with people and start to learn more about the company's culture and get a little bit more clear around what the day-to-day thing is, you got to start to think about, like, does this align with deeply like who I am and what I know is my and I'm using this like a compass, right? Because it's not always so clear as like I know exactly my destination. And in fact, that's why I use compass, because sometimes you're out in sea and you're not exactly sure, even it's so cloudy, you're not even sure where to go, but there's this compass that's just like, just go a little bit this way, just a little bit this way. And that inner compass, I think, is like so powerful because it's rooted in deep knowing, in conviction, in trusting yourself. And that one, that one's not about shattering those limiting beliefs. That one's about tuning in and listening and listening more. I mean, I've had it kind of like this, but now that I'm saying it out loud, I want to invite people to also think about it. It's kind of like this and then like this. Maybe the inner critic's up here. It's living in the head. And the inner compass is living down here. It's the energy coming from the heart. What's resonating with you from that? Let's think of some real situations. I'll come back and maybe share tomorrow some experiences where I've been in the different camps and what those looked like. And I'd love to hear from you too. See ya. Have a great day.